Hey everybody, welcome to the Summer Solstice Yoga class. My name is Amanda. I will be taking you through this practice today. This class is meant to be done in the morning. It can be done on the summer solstice at any time or the day before. I invite you to take this class outside if you can because we're saluting the sun today. The summer solstice is about the sun, the welcoming of summer, the change of a new season. It's the longest day of the year in the calendar. We have at least 12 hours of sunlight in the day, and different generations in history have been celebrating this forever. It's just welcoming in the new season of summer and celebrating the light and the energy that the sun gives us. So that's what we're going to be doing in this class today. We will be practicing some sun salutations because I can't think of a better time to do that. Traditionally, actually, a lot of places will practice 108 rounds of sun salutation on this day because 108 is a sacred number in yoga, and they do 27 in each direction, kind of like a compass. We're not doing that today. I'm not going to make you do 108 rounds of it, but we are going to practice a little bit of it. So sun salutations come from the Sanskrit name Surya Namaskar, which literally means saluting the sun. So that's what we're going to be doing. If you can do this practice facing a window if you're inside, facing the sun, or facing the sun outside, that's the best because you will be saluting the sun, like coming up and down, kind of bowing. That's what it symbolically is. So if you want to get the most of the practice, I invite you to try that. One other thing we're going to be doing in this class is working on our solar plexus chakra. So that is a chakra that's represented by the color yellow. It is ruled by the sun and it is right above your navel. So if you can imagine, I'm a little low on the camera, but right here, if you can imagine like a glowing yellow ball, that's where that energy center is. It rules willpower and it is ruled by the sun, like I said. So if you have any yellow clothes, throw them on for this class, try it outside, kind of embody that energy. In terms of yoga poses, solar plexus is core and a little bit of heart openers. Even though heart openers rule the heart chakra, they do kind of co-align with the core. So after we practice some rounds of sun salutation today, we will do a little bit of a core and then chest opener and then nice and relaxed. So the thing with the summer solstice as well is that it's not meant to build up heat. So if you did my last class, that was the Sagittarius full moon class, that was about fire, kind of embodying fire. So we did a lot of like we were sweating by the end of that one. But this one, we will do sun salutations, which if you've done them before, you may experience just a little bit of heat buildup, but the point of summer is not to combine heat in the body with heat outside. So we will practice some cooling breath and just kind of keeping the body cool as we go. So it's a nice balance today. I promise it's not as intense as the other class. If that was your first class with me, this is a lot nicer. And one last thing, the sun salutations, if you've never done one before, they're basically a sequence of movements that you salute the sun. So that's why I was like, if you face the sun, it kind of adds to that element. But in that flow, we will practice a traditional sun salutation, but right before we practice a traditional one, I have a kind of modified version that we'll do about 2 times just to kind of warm the body up for the sun salutation. And you're welcome to stay in that modified version the entire time if you're feeling a little groggy or you've never done it before. So again, anybody can do this practice today. If you've never done a sun salutation, if you've never taken a yoga class, I'm going to guide you through it. I always give modifications and we're going to practice tons of different levels today. So don't be afraid, try something new, enjoy this class, get outside, wear some yellow, and we'll get into it. Okay, we're going to start in a meditative position, so cross-legged, close the eyes and put the hands on your legs. We're going to take some time to go inward, to kind of settle ourselves and connect to our breath before we get started today. Focusing on inhaling fully, exhaling fully. But try not to change your breath. Just observe how you are breathing right now. Count the inhales, count the exhales. Every time you exhale, think about releasing the stale energy inside of you. We are halfway through the year. Think about what you want to do, what you want to release, and what you are proud of. Take those with you during the practice today. What you want to do with the next 6 months, what you want to release for the next 6 months, and think about the accomplishments, what you're proud of, what you've done in the past 6 months. Let those energies come in during this class today and just acknowledge them as we move through the physical practice. Changings of the seasons are times of transformation, change, and new beginnings. So as the old comes up, release it to make room for the new. Just keep counting your breath, feeling the air go down your nose, into your chest, into your belly, and then as you exhale, pushing that air out. Connecting to the present moment, the here and now, because that's all that matters. All right, we're gonna start rolling the head slowly. Keep the eyes closed here. One direction, just take the head in some big circles. Try not to throw the head back when you bring the neck back. Just open it up. Drop the chin completely as you come down. And again, control the neck as it comes back. We'll reverse the direction. Down the front. Inhale as the head comes down the back. Exhale as it comes down the front. All right, let's shake out those legs for a second. You can point and flex the toes. After sitting in that meditative posture, we're just getting some blood flow going here. So we're gonna warm up the body, warm up the spine, cross the legs, and let's come into a tabletop position. For a tabletop, you wanna make sure your back is flat, you're not arching it. We're just starting in a nice neutral spine with the tops of your feet flat on the floor. I'm gonna go into some cat-cows here, so dropping the chest and then rounding the shoulders. We're switching between these two motions. Drop the chest, bring the shoulders down on the inhale, and on the exhale, round the shoulders, push away from the floor and tuck in the tailbone. Try to find your own rhythm here, syncing up the movement with the breath. Exhale as we round the shoulders. Inhale as you drop the chest. Feel the shoulder blades pull back and down. Exhale as we push. And here you can add some movement at the top, rocking side to side, flowing a little bit through this one. Just waking up that spine. Continue a few more here. Okay, we're gonna get ready to fire up that core. I want you to tuck under your toes. We are gonna go into a bear pose. So to do this, we're keeping the back flat. Think about tucking the hips in. We're gonna lift the knees up off the floor, just like this. So see how I'm holding it here for just a few seconds. This is just a demo. Notice how my form is perfectly flat. So deep breath in here, to embrace that core, and on the exhale, we're lifting up off that floor. So here we go. Hold it here, nice full breaths, and bring it down. Okay, we're gonna do it one more time. So catch your breath in between, tuck the toes, take a deep breath, and come on up. Firing up that core, activating that solar plexus, and come on down. You can roll the wrist out, bend them back, do some circles here with them, just to release any tension, warm them up a little bit. I'm gonna go do some circles in one direction, pushing my body weight over my wrist to warm them up. Nice and controlled as you go. And we'll reverse it here. Keep breathing. Every time you come one direction, you inhale, exhale, and you come back around. We're getting ready for our first downward dog class. I'm tucking my toes and taking a nice wide stance from my palms. Think about pushing the hips back as we come up here. Good, drop the head down, make sure you're not bringing the shoulder blades up by the ears. You can go a little bit wider if you're feeling stiff, that might help with the hamstrings, so take a wide stance if you need it. But let's just spend a few seconds in this downward dog. Pedaling out the feet if that feels good for you here. Lifting up the heel on one foot and then the other. And don't forget to breathe while you're down here, taking those nice full breaths today. We want to cool the body as we move. Taking a few more seconds here. We're gonna slowly make our way up to the front of the mat. I'm gonna walk up, you could jump as well, into a nice forward fold.
So let the upper body hang heavy. If you can't get the arms onto the ground, that's okay. You can also grab the elbows to add some added weight. You can add a sway, or you can stay stationary. Just listen to your body and adjust the practice always to what your intuition tells you to do. Bending the knees, we're coming up to a nice standing position here. Bringing the hands to heart center. Okay, we are going to get ready to practice the sun salutations. I'm going to show you again a modified version coming up to the front of the mat to get started. So we're all going to flow through the modified version about 2 or 3 times, and then I'll take you into the real one. So bringing the hands back down on the inhale, we have that nice prayer pose. Let's take a second. I'm tucking in my tailbone, keeping the core really tight for this next movement here. Arms come up over the head. I'm going to slightly go into a bit of a back bend, just a slight back bend. To do that, I'm squeezing my glutes and pulling my shoulder blades back as I look up. This is called Hastasana. On the exhale, we're going to come down to Uttanasana, which is just the forward fold that we did before. Taking a few seconds to let the head hang heavy. From here, we're going to walk back into the downward dog. So pushing those feet, the heels on the floor, and keep breathing. Good. We're coming down onto all fours. We're going to hit 1 round of cat and cow. So inhale for cat, drop the chest and belly. Exhale for cow, tuck the shoulders, push against the ground. We're going to come down to the ground any way you can, whether that be a push-up, lowering yourself down, and we're going to take a back bend. So you can do a normal cobra, which is lifting yourself up off the ground, pushing the hips on the floor, or you can do baby cobra, which is just taking the hands off the ground, pushing the hips into the mat. From here, we're going to exhale and come up to downward dog. So choose whatever back bend you can do, and then we're going to push ourselves into that downward dog. From here, we'll walk forward, back into that nice forward fold. Let the upper body hang heavy. Bend the knees and start to hum all the way up. And we'll bring the hands to prayer center. So that was 1 round. We're going to do another round together, working with the breath. So focus on inhaling and exhaling on each movement here. But just notice how you feel. If there's any change, any shift in the body. Okay, so inhale, bring the hands up above the head, down to prayer center. We're going to squeeze that core, squeeze the glutes, arms come up above the head, very slight back bend. And we'll exhale down to Uttanasana, the forward fold. Stepping back into the downward dog, keeping those heels on the ground. We're going to find tabletop and take 1 cat, inhale. Exhale, we take that cow. And we get down to the ground however we can here. We got that back bend. Push the hips down, push the tops of your feet down into the ground. That will help you get your back up. Into that downward dog, we're slowly coming back up to standing here. So walk the feet forward. We have that forward bend. Inhale, we come back up to standing. Starting to build that heat here. Hands to heart center. It'll take a few seconds to collect ourselves. All together again, we're going to do this 1 more time. Hands up above the head, bring the palms to heart center. We're squeezing the core, squeezing the glutes as we go up for Hastasana. Exhale, coming down to Uttanasana, dropping the upper body. And we're going to step back into the downward dog, Adho Mukha Savasana. Coming down onto that tabletop position, we inhale for cat, drop the chest and belly. Exhale, push away from the ground for the cow pose. We lower ourselves down slowly here. Push the hip bones into the mat. Push the tops of your toes into the ground as you lift up. Deep breath in. We exhale as we come to the downward dog. Take a second to breathe. We're going to come to the top of the mat again, dropping the upper body, bending the knees, coming back up to Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. So really nice job getting through those rounds. If that feels comfortable for you today in your practice, I want you to keep doing the version I just showed you. I'm going to demonstrate the normal sun salutations, so here we go. Bringing the hands to heart center, it's going to begin the exact same. We have Hastasana here, squeezing the glutes and the core as the arms come up. Exhale, we have forward bend. This time I want you to take your right leg and we're going to step back into a lunge. So get that right leg back. We're going to step back into a lunge here, dropping the back leg, foot flat. Notice how I'm looking forward and how my knee is in line with my heel. Check to make sure you have your knee in line, upper body standing nice and proud, and you're looking forward at the sun. Option to also bring the arms up and keep them over your head if that's in your practice today. Okay, bringing the feet back, we're going into downward dog from here. Now, I'm going to show you this a little slow for the first round. We are going to pass through plank. So let's take plank for a second to feel it. We have the core tight, lower back flat. Dandasana, so we're holding it. My knees come to the ground, my chest comes to the ground, and my chin. I know it looks funny. My hips are high up. My belly is not touching the floor. Then we're going to press the hips down for our back bend variation. So again, that can be a normal cobra, a baby cobra, as whatever is comfortable for you today. From here, we go back to a downward dog, and we're going to step forward with the opposite foot. So we're going to take that left leg, bring it in the air, and step into a lunge. So we're in the same lunge that we were in earlier, looking forward, and we're going to come up to that forward fold. Push the hips back, bend the knees. We're coming up to the prayer pose. So that was the right side round. We're going to repeat the same thing with the left leg, okay? So hands to heart center. Inhale, we have Hastasana, slight back bend. Exhale, we come down for that forward fold. Now we're going to bring the left leg back. Left leg back, keep the knee flat, keep the top of the foot on the floor. Keep that gaze and chest open and forward. Exhale, we're going to go into our downward dog here. Drop the head down, keep the shoulders away from the ears. Passing through plank, watch how my knees come down, my chest comes down, my chin comes down. All right, now we'll drop the hips and we'll go into our back bend variation. Coming back, tuck the toes, we're going into that downward dog here. Making our way back up again is what we're doing. Right leg comes forward and we are going to drop the back foot. Looking forward here, keep the shoulder blades back and step up into your forward fold. Bend the knees, come up, little Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. So that was one complete round there. We're going to go back with the right. Hands above the head, back down to prayer. We have Hastasana on the inhale. As you exhale, we drop down to that forward fold. So again, are we going to bring the right foot back? Keep that foot flat, eyes forward, gaze forward, and we'll work our way into a downward dog. We're going to pass through plank. So my knees touch the ground first, my chest, and then my chin. I'm going to drop the hips and open up my upper body. I'm starting to pick up a little bit of speed as I go into my downward dog. Left leg comes up into that lunge, back foot drops, eyes look forward. Stepping up, drop the upper body here. Push through the heels as you rise up, quick Hastasana, and then hands to heart center. We're going to get the other side of the body. Take a second to notice how it feels. Inhale, hands to heart center. Squeeze the core, we're going hands up, Hastasana, and we'll drop to Uttanasana, forward fold. Stepping back with the left leg this time, eyes forward, and we push back to downward dog. Pass through that plank, drop the knees, drop the chest, and drop the hips. Push the feet against the floor as you rise. Tuck the toes, we go back into that downward dog here. Take a second, pedal out the feet if you need. We bring the left leg back up here into our low lunge. As we step forward, we drop the upper body. Bend the knees, we rise, nice and powerful here. Hands to heart center. We're feeling powerful, we're connecting with our solar plexus, we're greeting the sun, we're greeting the new season. Feel that light within you here. I'm going to drop down for a quick forward fold. If you're feeling it, shake it out. You can always go into child's pose if you need to. but I find a quick little forward fold like this will help release anything that you're feeling. So just take a few seconds to listen to your body before we continue. And we'll do a halfway lift here. Okay, we're going to do one more round on each side. So right and left leg, and that is it for sun salutations. So you made it this far. Let's get ready to go. I'm going to walk out the legs. Hamstrings are feeling a little stiff this day. It's totally okay if you ever feel that way. So let's get ready. Going into prayer pose, you're going to take a deep breath in through the nose. Get ready. Keeping that core tight, squeezing the glutes together. Squeeze the inner thighs as you go up for Hastasana. Maybe you can bend back a little more. Exhale, we drop down into that forward fold and we step the right leg back here. Keep the gaze forward. Inhale, we got that downward dog pose. Pass through plank, knees drop down, chest drops down. Then I push my hips and I keep my elbows tucked in when I go for my back bend. Back into my downward dog here, breathing through every motion. We're taking the left leg to the front of the mat and we're going into that nice low lunge. Step up for Hastasana, drop the head. And bring the hands to heart center. Last round, guys, okay? Here we go. So squeeze, inhale, we're going up for Hastasana. Exhale, we drop down for our forward fold. Stepping our left leg back this time. Keep the gaze forward. Inhale, we're stepping back into our downward dog. Passing through plank, we're going into our back bend, keeping the elbows tucked in. Getting ready, we're bringing our right leg forward. Dropping the back foot as we gaze forward. And we'll drop the head here. Inhale, we're rising up. Quick Hastasana. Hands to heart center. Bow to your practice. Drop the head for a quick second. And going into one more forward fold. We're going to walk back into a well-deserved child's pose. So take a downward dog, drop the knees. Let's sink into it here. Breathing. Just bowed, taking in the fiery solar energy of the sun. You should feel energized, woken up a little bit. But we're going to find that balance. Find those longer exhales as you breathe to help cool the body down. The hardest part of the class is over. We got through it. We're going to work our way into one more pose to open up the solar plexus. So let's get into that plank position for a few seconds here. You can do this. We're activating that core. All right. You can either go in the knees or come all the way down in a chaturanga. So we are going to take a sphinx pose. You want to have the elbows close to the body, the forearms flat on the ground as we enter this slight back bend here, keeping that gaze forward. If you have any back issues here, just keep that child's pose going. Lifting up my left leg, I'm going to pull it in closer to me. This is a nice quad stretch, but this is a preparation for a pose that we're going to take. So this is half frog pose. Keep that gaze forward, keep the chest open. Activating that solar plexus. Your core also includes your lower back, the whole area around your corset area. All right, shake it out a bit, drop that leg. Inhale, we're going for the opposite foot. So we're taking that right foot, grabbing it if we can here, and keeping the forearm that's on the floor pressed into the mat to help keep that balance and that support. Okay, we are gonna get ready to take a boat pose. So drop down here, rest the head on the arms, push the hips into the mat. We'll take a quick crocodile pose to relax the spine. So So a bow pose is an awesome pose for the solar plexus. I'm going to show you how it looks in 2 different versions. You're going to push the hips into the mat. So really think about almost like thrusting into the mat, driving them forward. We're grabbing both feet, and what we're going to do is we're pushing the hips and then we're lifting the upper body. So if you can get an inch or 2 off the ground, that's perfect. Otherwise, we're going to try and go a little higher. So inhale, pull the feet, push the feet against your hands. So you have opposing forces here. You're pushing the hips into the ground and you're pushing your feet against your hands as you pull your hands in. Stay steady here. Again, you can take the half frog pose if that's more comfortable to you here, but you can do this. And let's drop down into that crocodile pose. Actively push your hips into the ground here again. It's going to help decompress the spine a little bit. Good. All right. That was it for the fire part, guys. We're going to start to balance it out. Let's make our way into a seat, however you need to get there. So your sit bones are on the floor, and we're going to extend those legs out in front of you. I'm going to work on some forward folds, so let's make that spine nice and long. Think about lifting up from the ribs here. Notice how I'm getting taller. Think about somebody pulling you up from the ribs, and then we're going to fold forward. So I'm grabbing onto the backs of my feet. You can always grab onto your ankles, the tops of your shins. This is not a stretch class. We're not focusing on being the most flexible in the room. We're listening to our bodies at all times. And we're just focusing on what we can do here today, appreciating that we can even move this way. Inhale and try to exhale, maybe go a little bit deeper. But again, respect your body's limits. You don't want to be super uncomfortable in this position. And drop the head down low. Make sure the shoulders aren't too bunched up by your ears. Just manually release any tension you're feeling in your shoulders here. Focusing on staying cool, increasing our exhales, making them a little bit longer to invite in that coolness. Okay, so we're going to bring the knee all the way up to your hip and then open it up. Pressing the sole of the right foot against the left leg, we're going to go for another forward bend variation. So lengthening again from the ribs, we're going to fold forward. So notice here how my forearms are nice and relaxed. My elbows are touching my knee. I'm not straining to reach my foot. I'm just letting the upper body drape, and I'm feeling the nice opening in my back here. Option to open up the right side of the body for a little bit of a twist. So notice how my chest is staying open. I'm not collapsing on myself. So think about if I was behind you and I gently was pulling your armpit back. You can also just drop back down into the regular position if you're uncomfortable with that opening. Okay, shake it out for a quick second. We're gonna do the other side. So I'm bringing my left thigh into my chest and I'm opening it up from the top. That's gonna protect your knee. Keeping the hips tucked in, reaching up, elongating the spine. I'm going for that bend. So from this angle, again, you can see I'm not pulling my foot into me. I'm kind of loosening the grip I have on my foot. Opening up if you feel. So notice here again, see how my back is really pulling back behind me. If somebody was assisting you in this twist, think about their hand pulling you back here. This is a really good stretch for your side body. You can drop it down when you've had enough. Okay, let's make our way onto our back, guys. Nice and controlled. One last time, let's really activate that core. We finally made it down onto our backs. We can pedal out the legs, switch them side to side. We're just gonna take one twist together before we make our way into Shavasana. So we're gonna go into a supine twist, bringing the left thigh into the body and then crossing it over your torso. If you have any neck issues, look onto the same side as your leg is going. If you don't have neck issues, try looking in the opposite direction to deepen the twist here. This is my favorite part of a class. Anytime you see a twist come up, You know the end is near. Good. Keep breathing through this. Okay. Gonna knock the knees into each other, bring them back up. Just shake it out. We'll get the other side. So bring that right knee into your chest, cross it over your torso. And again, if you can, look the other direction. If you don't have any neck issues, turn right ahead. Try your hardest to keep your shoulder blade on the ground. If you feel it's coming off the ground, loosen your grip on this twist just a little bit here. Your left hand shouldn't be pulling too hard onto your leg. All right. We are going to get ready for our Shavasana. So come out of that pose. If you need to grab anything to support you during this pose, go right ahead. If you have any lower back issues, putting a pillow or a blanket underneath your knees to elevate them a bit will help keep that back nice and flat. So take a second to come back to your body here. Feel the weight of your body against the mat, against the floor. Feeling yourself get heavier and heavier. See if you can feel your pulse. Don't move, don't try anything. Just become aware of your heartbeat, how it's changed during this practice. If you can feel blood pumping in different parts of your body, take a second and notice that change. Without changing anything, become aware of your breath. Feel the rise and the fall of your chest. Feel the cool air hitting the back of your throat as you inhale, and the warm air coming out of your nose as you exhale. Just become aware of the different temperatures, the different forces working in your body to cool you down. Remember, on a more personal level, the summer solstice marks the perfect time to check in on any New Year's resolutions or reflect on the first half of the year and set new intentions or recommit to the existing ones for the next 6 months. So I want you to visualize a ball in front of you, just a clear, empty ball. And inside of it, I want you to place anything that you want to release, anything that's weighing you down. See it going into that clear ball as a black gas. Every time you come up with something, see the ball filling up with that black gas. And feel yourself getting lighter and lighter. Keep filling that ball with that black gas. And I want you to visualize taking a lighter and setting the ball of gas on fire, burning away what we don't need anymore, what we don't want to take with us into the next 6 months. It's a transformational fire. Every time you exhale, the fire gets bigger, but it's contained in the ball. Watch that fire burn till every drop of that gas is gone. And start to move the fingers a bit. Make your way onto the side of your body into a fetal position if that feels good for you. You can slowly come up to a seated position with your eyes closed. I want you to keep the feeling. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. Namaste. I invite you to sit with this feeling for just a little bit longer.